Hello YouTubers. So I have been doing a tutorial on ASP.NET, the series, and I've noticed that on my last video, the on QueryString, there's about 30 or 40% more views on that video than the other video. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a follow-up to that one, just because it seems that people are very interested in that. And as soon as I'm done with that tutorial, then I'm gonna go ahead and move into the logging system of ASP.NET. So let's jump right in. I'm gonna create a new website here. New website, and it's going to be an empty website, and I'm going to drop in 2 pages in there. Okay, add new item. It's going to be web form default.aspx, and I'm going to create another one in here. Add new item and web form default.aspx too. And all I'm going to do is in default.aspx, I'm going to add a button in there, and in that button, I'm going to redirect. the page. So button ID, it's going to be button redirect, and it's going to run at server, and it's on click text. Text going to say redirect, and on click it's going to be button redirect click. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, Control C, close it, and let's go to the design. In the code in here, let's create a. You can also do this by, I don't know why I actually did the long way, but you can just create the button, and then you can simply double click on the button, and this will get created for you automatically. I kind of took the long way here without a reason. But anyways, you can do it manually. I guess you can, always learning something, so. Okay, anyways, so once you click the button, we're going to call the other page. We're going to redirect the other page. So it's going to be response.redirect, and it's going to ask me for the page, and the name of the page is default2.aspx. But now I want to pass the query string. If you watch the previous video, you see how this is done. But here we go again. Put a question mark, and a query string it's a pair value, right? It's a key and the value. Okay, so I'm gonna say name equals Fabio B.Scopel, and you can see that I'm actually putting spaces in here, which is fine. And I'm gonna pass two strings. So that's the first one. The name is the key, and then the value is whatever comes after the equality sign. If I'm going to pass a second key, I'm going to use the ampersand sign in here, and I'm going to say ID equals whatever 23. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and close it. And at this point, I'm just going to run the project as is right now. And as you probably noticed, I didn't do anything on that page number 2. So right now, I'm on default.aspx. Okay. When I click redirect, it's going to simply create the second, it's going to call the second page, and it's going to pass the query string, but I'm not doing anything to handle that. I just wanted to show you that that's what's going to happen. Okay, it's going to go from one page to the other. Okay, so now let's write some code to actually handle the query string. And you can pass any type of values in here. Okay, any type of string values. So page number 2, I'm just going to go directly to the code. I'm not going to put anything in the page. I'm going to go to code. And then to read the values out of the query string, I'm going to say request.queryString, open brackets. And then I can use 2 things. I can use the index, so I can say whatever the first pair is. So the first pair is name, right? By putting a 0 in here. Okay, so I'm getting the first pair. I'm going to assign this. I'm going to assign this value to a var name. And then we can also look at the second one. So var ID equals request.queryString, and then index 1, right? Because it's base 0. Let's go ahead and then write this values to screen. Instead of using a label, I'm just going to use page dot. Oh, it's actually response.write, and I'm going to say name plus name, and also I'm going to put a new line in here. It's HTML style, and I'm just going to be lazy and copy and paste that. And in here, I'm going to say ID, and this is going to say ID. Okay? Let's go ahead. I'm going to put a breakpoint in here. So I just clicked, and I'm going to press, I'm going to select default, and I'm going to press play. That's going to bring up my page. When I click redirect, it's going to go back to Visual Studio because I put a breakpoint. Pressing F11, okay, you can see that it steps through it, and the value of that string is now inside my name variable. As you can see right now, the next variable ID is null, but once I step through it, it gets assigned to 23. And these 2 lines of code in here are just gonna inject HTML into the ASP page. So I'm just gonna step through them, and when the page comes back up, you can actually see that I have some data now. It says name Fabio Scopel and then ID 23, and these are the values that came from the query string. Again, this is the key and this is the value. Okay. You can also do this instead of using the index. You can also use the actual key name. So I know that the first key is name and the second key is ID. And let's go ahead and then execute this code now. Instead of using the index, we're using the actual key value. Okay. And let me stop this because I actually started with this page. Instead of doing that, let me set a starting page. So it doesn't matter if I have this highlighted, I'm still going to start on default.aspx. So default.aspx, click redirect. Again, the debugger in here. And as you can see, it's a null, but once the line executes, it becomes the actual value. Okay, same thing for ID. And then when you look at the final result, we have the same result. Now here's the interesting thing. You notice that you use the index or you use the key name. There's another thing that we can do too. Let me go ahead and then comment this out really quick. Is that actually, let me just look at this really quick. When you highlight this this method in here, okay, you can see that actually this is of type name value collection. Okay, not type name value collection. So just bear with me for a second. Let me stop. Instead of accessing it, instead of going to it directly like this, another way of doing this is to say this: name value collection. Let's see, query string is going to equal to request.QueryString. Okay, and this right now doesn't. I don't have the namespace in there, so I'm going to click right in front of it, and I'm going to press Control period. Okay, that's going to ask me, do you want to use at the very top or do you want to use just in line? So I'm just going to add it at the very top. You can see that this just got inserted in here. Okay, and now I can actually have access to the key names, not only the values but the key name. One way of doing this will be, we just put an if statement in here. It says q is string dot has keys. Okay, so let's say that I want to print the keys. Okay, I can say, let me copy this right here. This is a method, so it needs those 2 parameters in there. And I'm going to say that key name, again, key is the first one, not the second. The second is the value, right? So key name at index 0 equals, and I'm going to say qstring dot get key at index 0. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing for index 1 in here, and let's take a look at the result. I'm gonna remove the debug line so we can go directly to it. I'm gonna press start right here. Brings up the page, redirect, and now you can see that now I have these values right here: name, and ID. Okay, I can also extract the values from here. By doing this, say value at index 0 and value at index 1, and I can say get. Okay, and get is actually overloaded. Get accepts index or the actual key name. Okay, so actually let me pass the key name on this one just so you can see name, and or you can pass the variable, right? You can pass this as well. I don't want to get too complicated, but so key name and an index number, that's going to return Fabio Scapel, and then this one is going to return ID 23. So let's take a look at that. Redirect. You can see that returns the value now, Fabio Scapel, and then the other one returns the value 23. So again, just a short tutorial on QueryString and giving you a little more information on how to use QueryString using C# code in the back. Stay tuned, subscribe, like the video if you like the video, of course. And again, next video is going to be the login system that ASP.NET has for us. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.